For a lot of us, we favor certain stances. So maybe we favor a little bit more towards the front, a little bit towards the back, or maybe we favor one leg versus the other. When we're always favoring the right side, which tends to be the tendency, we end up in this left AIC pattern. So the left hip is a little bit more shifted forward, and the right hip is a little bit more shifted back. And so what happens is when we're trying to transfer force through the pelvis that's a little bit off, it can't quite have that force closure on these pelvic joints, and we could have a little bit more pain. Because again, if we can't compress on these joints, they're not going to be as stable during movement. Now, we want the pelvis to be able to shift back and forth while we're walking or while we're moving, because that's how we're going to be able to transfer force through the pelvis, which is a major junction from the upper to the lower body. So let's discuss some strategies where we can find a little bit of that neutral pelvic position to better adapt to movement. So the first thing that we can do is first we want to find that neutral pelvic position. So we can find that hip crease and we're going to drive that hip crease back. And usually that's going to bring us back into neutral. Typically it's going to be the left side that we want to kind of drive back. And you can kind of figure out what side it is if you lay flat on your back. Whichever side feels like it's pushing harder into the ground is probably the opposite side that you want to be working on. So from here, I'm going to drive this left hip crease back, and then I can take a yoga block and put it between my thighs to emphasize that adduction. So I'm going to exhale, drive the hip crease back, squeeze this yoga block. And then from there, I can do whatever lift and stuff that I was trying to do. So if I was trying to do a deadlift, I can do my deadlift. If I was trying to do a squat, I can do squats. If we're pregnant, obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to move super far down with the yoga block between our thighs and with our legs super close. So we may have to transition to more of like a box squat variation. So everything, drive my left hip crease back, squeeze my yoga block, inhale down, exhale, come back up. And sometimes that really helps with that pubic symphysis pain.